Man, did that music just time itself perfectly by accident. Wow. Wow. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Mitch. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Clean. Now, if I quit cigars, quit drinking coffee, it might stay that way longer than a couple months. But it's the price we pay. How is everybody tonight? I hope you can all hear me. I see you're all piling in here. Good to see you. I'll say hello to all of you in a few minutes. But I need another sip of coffee. As people are pouring in. 60 of you so far. So, as you probably figured out, I kind of spoke out of turn the other day when I said I'm going to make a video on Tuesday morning and go to Sam's Club, and at the exact second I was saying that, my calendar hadn't popped into my head. And shortly thereafter, I realized that I did have to drive over to Orlando this morning. And wow, what's going on with my voice here? I did have to drive over to Orlando and couldn't do it. So brought a camera along with me, recorded that little video in the car, which worked out pretty good. A little suction cup thing to stick to the windshield. Posted it when I got home, and here I am tonight. And if nothing else gets in the way, I am going to do that Sam's Club thing this morning. And although I've filmed a little bit in the Sam's Club, I just haven't gone on full-on public YouTuber. Cameras, selfie sticks, all that stuff. I haven't done that yet. And I know these different stores have policies. They have policies against filming. I think you're supposed to ask prior permission because so many people do videos. Like the deal guy does those videos, the top 10 things to buy at Costco this week, and he's in there with a crew doing that stuff. But I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try. Try to be a little bit clandestine, but I want to do it with a 360-degree camera so that I can basically get anything out of the shot that I want in editing. And I'm going to go on a bargain meat hunt and probably continue to point out the ratio of 98% garbage and poison in that store to 2% maybe healthy food. 1% of which might be meat. Never ceases to amaze me. I noticed in the comments here, seems like everybody went to the dentist today or tomorrow. I say Rosie said she did, and Mark I think is going tomorrow, and I went today. Is this National Healthcare Month? Did I miss it? I don't know. I don't know. Well, let's start off with the fact that you all know, and I shouldn't have to repeat this every time, and it says so down in the description of my videos, that I, shocker, am not a doctor. Anything I say is not to be construed as medical advice or personal advice, one-to-one from me to you in any form, whether that be dietary or anything else. Medical, what I tell you about is what I did for myself, my own personal experiences, how it has affected me, and if you think you'd like to try, that's totally up to you. And I hope that keeps the lawyers at bay, and I don't know why I got a frog in my throat here, so bear with me. wonder, wonder if it was something from the dentist. Sitting there with that suction thing in my mouth. I hate those things. I hate those things. I wrote a list of things I wanted to talk about, and then we'll get to the chat, talking to you people. First thing, if it isn't obvious already, is that buy me a coffee thing. You all know what I'm talking about. I would guess maybe one or two of you don't, but most of you probably do. Well, as you know, I registered for the thing on Saturday, got a link, and on that Sunday morning video where I thanked everybody for being supportive of me on a bad day, I put that link down in the description and talked a little bit about it, and I did it basically on the suggestion of a number of you, and something I hadn't even ever considered doing, because I just get tired of everybody always asking for money on these things. And there are some people out there that are real offenders. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're always got some kind of GoFundMe this or buy me that or whatever. And my pride has always kept me from doing that kind of thing. But so many people were telling me, hey, Mitch, we want to help you out. We want to support you. You deserve to make a little money for the work that you do. Everybody deserves. And I said, okay. So I did it. And I got to tell you, I almost had set myself up. I set myself up for disappointment. You ever do that? You ever set yourself up for disappointment? You try something and you say, yeah, it would be great if this actually worked, but I'm just going to assume that it isn't going to work. And that way I won't be hurt too badly when it doesn't. And I can say, I knew it wasn't going to work. Now that, you might consider that a negative attitude, but sometimes you get that way after a few failures, and it's a protective attitude. It keeps you, it makes the fall off the cliff. It makes just a little lower cliff to the ground. So I really didn't have any expectations. I figured, we'll see what happens. Anybody that has gone on there and anybody that has bought me a coffee, or 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 50, which happened a couple hours ago, somebody, and I'm not going to mention any names, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but somebody bought me 50 coffees. That's $250. It almost scared me. I mean, I was actually taken aback by that. All in all, I think 80 or 90 of you, and I think most of those people are here tonight, are in this room. They're part of my private community. They're really friends of the channel. And the support on this thing was overwhelming. And whenever somebody bought me a coffee, my phone went ka-ching. It had that sound effect, ka-ching, and scared the shit out of me the first time it happened because it was loud. And I said, what the hell is that? And I looked and somebody bought me a coffee. $5. I said, whoa, I can't believe it. And it went on all day long. Ka-ching, ka-ching. It was emotional. I don't know how else to describe it. It was overwhelming to me that so many people came out and felt like they wanted to support me. And I said, well, maybe my father, in his infinite wisdom, was right when he told me, if you don't ask, you don't get. It's always been a problem of mine all my life. But thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Welcome, Beverly, a new member of the private community, which has also jumped well over 100 members now. And we're going to have a whole bunch of new people in on Thursday night. So I thank you so much for that. And thank you to the people who left me a super thanks on those videos that I put out. It was, I can't tell you. It was why I had a hard time. I couldn't rant. I couldn't rant. I couldn't rant yesterday morning because I was in such a great mood. So I wanted to make sure that I did thank everybody. And that doesn't mean I want you to stop. Think of me it's not like I expect to get that many coffees every day, but if I do something that you think has helped you a lot and you want to say thank you, Mitch, throw a coffee my way. That's great. And that's all you're going to hear about the coffees tonight, except for this big banner that I got that I can throw up on my screen at any time and tell you that if you really appreciate what I do and you really, 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 really want to help me, shut up, Mitch. I'm sorry, I had to do that. That was just a joke. But no, seriously. No, I'm kidding. That's great. That was great. It didn't come off as smooth as I had hoped I could have gotten it off. I clicked the wrong button to try to get rid of the banner. But it is a great thing. The only thing I don't like is that I waited so long. I waited so long to do it. Okay, that was the first thing on my list after my disclaimer was to thank you all so much for the response I got on that. I did want to make a comment about live stream attendance. I've got it says 89 people in here now. And I say to myself, because this is something that all YouTubers question themselves on. So I actually got out the calculator and did a little math just to see whether the number of people that actually come to my live streams is in line with other guys and gals in this genre, in our sector. So I turned to some things that I learned about. No, Tammy, that's not what that was. That was a record scratch where you knocked the record off. I'll leave it to you, Tammy. So I thought about my old investment days, and that was, if you're going to buy a stock, first of all, find out how the whole sector is doing. In other words, if you're thinking about buying a stock in a department store, find out if all the department stores are going up or all the department stores are going down. Because why would you want to buy a stock you think is going to go up if everything else in the sector is having a bad day? And we've all heard that in investments. We've heard about the tech sector is doing well. The tech sector isn't doing well. The housing sector is doing well. And you don't want to buy into a sector when you may think an individual company is going to do well, and it might. But when the sector is on the way down, you've got that pressure against you already. Same thing with gambling. The trend is your friend. Don't fight the trend. Go with the flow. When you buy a stock, buy it on the way up. Don't try to pick them up. All the same things, all the same. So I used that and I said, well, let me take a look at the other people in this genre, in the carnivore live stream sector that are doing live streams. And let me take a look at these individual creators, the number of subscribers they have, and the average turnout they get on their live streams. So I did. The most obvious one to look at would be Ken Berry. And I did. Ken Berry's got over 3 million subscribers. He's got a big private community, but I can't count that. But I can count his Monday public live stream. On average, he gets 4,000 to 5,000 viewers out of 3 million subscribers. That's not a big percentage. that's not a big percentage. So then I looked at Sean Baker, and he does these little one-off live streams from his car, so you can't really count them. They're just like, hey, popped up here, just want to tell you I'm on my way to California, see you later. That's not, can't count those. But Anthony Chafee is really one of the most prolific live streamers in our community. He's always doing a live stream, and he does these live streams for 2, 3, 4 hours. So I looked at Anthony Chafee. He's got 300,000 subscribers. He's got 10% of the number of subscribers that Ken Berry has. And his average attendance on his live streams is 300, 400, 500 people, which falls about right in line with the ratio of subscribers to people who attend your live streams that Ken Berry's has. So then I looked at my little channel and I said, okay, I got 31,000 subscribers. Sometimes I might get up to 100, 150 people in my live streams, but generally it hovers around 100. Right now it's like 98. So I say, how does that compare? And when I did the math, I have a higher percentage by far of my subscribers attending my live streams. Now, that may be true that the smaller you are, the greater the percentage is going to be, because you don't have subscribers that found you 4 years ago and haven't watched you in 3 years. Your subscribers are all more recent. But I made me feel good, because I said to myself, well, I guess a channel my size, and then I looked at all the other ones that pop up here and there and everywhere, 2, 3, 4 people always interviewing each other. And most of the time you find 20, 30 people. And that's what my drone live streams used to get, 20 to 30 people tops. If I hit 30 on a live stream, I felt like, I was a new national star. So I think, guys, that those of you that come here and support these live streams are doing more than your part. And I do appreciate that. And I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like I'm hanging in there with the same amount of success that most of the other guys and the bigger guys are having. Just wanted to tell you that. Whether that was interesting or not, I don't know. I'm glad you all liked my ginormous meatloaf video. I did have the second serving of that for dinner tonight. I had thought it out, and I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and heated it up, and it was delicious, and it was still juicy. And I'm full, because that was probably a pound or more of meatloaf there. I told you I'm going to, it says here that if you got any ideas about recipes or things you want to see me try to experiment with and cook, let me know, because it's getting tough to keep coming up with new ideas of ways to cook the same 5 foods. Sam's Club tomorrow morning. A note about that. Just had a comment from a viewer who said that he had seen a video where they were talking about the fact that within a year, all vaccinations, whether they be the big C or any others, shingles, pneumonia, whatever, are going to be using mRNA. And that, he said, scared him. And that is a little scary. That is a little scary. It doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing. It just means that when you let the current crop of people that seem to be running things get involved, it inevitably becomes a bad thing. But there's nothing, in my opinion, inherently bad about the concept of mRNA. It's what it has the potential to create. And I've explained this a few times, and probably doesn't hurt to explain it again quickly. I'm going to go through this really, really quickly. And I'll tell you what, because everybody knows what, or knows the word mRNA. But you ask somebody, well, what is it? What does it do? And how does it work? I don't know. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Okay. Okay. mRNA is bad. mRNA is messenger RNA. Messenger RNA. And the job of messenger RNA is to take a transcription of a gene that codes for a particular protein. And I won't go into the mechanics of how that strand of messenger RNA is actually created. But if you all remember, well, maybe you have to be old like me to remember computer punch tapes where you had a long paper string with a bunch of holes in it. Well, an mRNA is a strand of the 4 different nucleotides, the 4 different bases that make up DNA. They've been read from a gene, could be 10,000 of them, could be 100,000 of them, but it's the code. In computer code, it would be just ones and zeros. But in genetic code, you have 4 different possibilities. It's a whole different ball game. You have 4 different bases and however many different combinations and number of bases you can string end to end. And that code is transcribed from the genome, from your chromosome, from your genetics. So the instructions to build any one of the 25,000 different proteins that we have in our body is transcribed by a bunch of these little protein-based machines that we build. And it looks like a big long strand, and it's pretty much just like half of a strand of DNA. DNA is a double-stranded matrix, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is like if you unzip that, half of that would be an ribonucleic acid. And that mRNA are the instructions to build a protein. And every protein, every one of the 25,000 proteins we have in our body that is built in our cell cytoplasm by all the little molecular machinery, like things like ribosomes and like that assemble amino acids in certain orders based on the orders of the instructions in the mRNA. That's just the mechanics in our body that build proteins from amino acids. The mRNA is nothing spooky or bad about it. It's just the paper tape for the computer. Now, when the danger comes in that we haven't had control over these little strands of mRNA and hence have not had control over changing the way proteins are built from amino acids. You can think of that as Frankenstein stuff, just like CRISPR and editing the genome. You're doing the same thing. When you edit the genome, you're just editing the code before it gets transcribed. If you fool with the mRNA, you're just editing the same code after it's transcribed. In my opinion, we need to keep our hands off the frigging code. That code took billions of years on its own, trial and error, to develop. We are not, in my opinion, smart enough to even contemplate the outcome to the history of evolution of what we will become by screwing with this stuff. So I personally don't like it. And the one time they screwed with the mRNA that they stuck into us, they came up with something called a spike protein. Now, the fact that they made a spike protein just means that they changed the code in the mRNA, but that doesn't mean that we may not come up with a cure for some ridiculously deadly disease by changing the order of a particular code in an mRNA. And in that case, it would be a good thing, but I still don't think we should be messing with it. And like artificial intelligence, and the more and more you hear about the threats that that poses, and fooling with the very genetic code of life itself, I think there's some things we can only get in trouble with and do a lot more harm than good. So, based on the way the entire world listens to everything I say and acts accordingly, you can all sleep well tonight. There'll be no more of that tomorrow. When pigs fly. So I thought I'd talk about that because you're going to be hearing a lot about that. Maybe you'll have a little basic understanding of what it is that they're talking about and what the potential of it is. And when you start seeing people walking around that have 4 eyes and 6 arms, you'll be able to say to yourself, "Oh, they've been fooling with the genetic code again, haven't they?" And I think I had one more thing on my list here, and got a half an hour gone. There was a video today. There was a video today that I want to show you. I want to show you here. Just give me a second to set this up. It is here. I think, let me make sure I don't have an advertisement here. Yeah, that's the ad. I don't want the ad. Okay. All right, here it is. Ready? This is a video about cholesterol. And the title of it is The Cholesterol Lie, Key Studies Hidden from the Public. And I haven't done it yet, but I am going to put a link to this in the show notes of this live stream. And I want to play you the first couple of minutes of this. Because still, what we worry about more than anything, even though I'm convinced that my screaming high LDL is not going to kill me, there's always that little nagging doubt. There's always that little thing that says, Jesus, how come everybody still thinks that that's true? It's almost unbelievable that an entire civilization can be built around a lie. Wouldn't be the first time. But watch this just for a minute or two.
Improve your health, then I reckon both total cholesterol levels and levels of LDL bad cholesterol are pretty rubbish biomarkers for you to be concentrating on. Focusing your efforts on reducing these levels is probably a waste of your time and could even worsen your health. On the other hand, these biomarkers are very useful if you are part of the pharmaceutical industry cashing in on the trillion-dollar statin industry. So what happens when a huge randomized controlled trial involving diet and cholesterol levels produces a result that completely undermines standard dietary advice, healthcare guidance about cardiovascular disease risk, and the very idea that underpins the use of statins? Well, you just cover it up, of course. The Minnesota coronary experiment, conducted in the 60s and 70s, looked at saturated versus polyunsaturated fat in the diet, cholesterol levels, and health outcomes. This is the first of lots of interesting studies coming up, but bear in mind as we go, cholesterol is not just relevant when it comes to your heart and blood vessels, it is crucial throughout your entire body. Cholesterol is in all cell membranes and impacts.
Okay, I don't want you to see the whole video now, but I wanted you to show that. And this is a guy named Dr. Philip Bosanquet, Bosanquet, and really a smart guy. And I was really impressed by the video itself. And he did kind of what Nina Teicholz does in bringing out these studies that they have been using to make their case, uncovering data that was hidden for 40 years, redoing the study based on the actual data they found and finding out that it basically showed exactly the opposite of what the original people who did the study were trying to prove, and that is that cholesterol kills you, saturated fat is bad, and all the stuff that has just turned our food pyramid in deadly. And then it's indisputable. And then he goes on to talk about the Sydney heart study. They did the same thing. Any study that showed results other than what they wanted to show. They had their mind made up already. You know, who cares what the science shows? You know, we know better. And they just keep doing it. So the best studies that were ever done, the real randomized controlled trials, the ones that weren't just all epidemiology, he just lines them up and shows you, and hopefully that might actually give you some confidence that you don't have to worry as much as you think you do. Have some faith. And he talks about it. I was taken aback by how great this video was, how concise and easy to understand. So I'll put a link in the show notes after we're done here tonight. If for some reason you go looking for it, it's not there, shoot me an email and tell me I forgot to do it so I can do it. So that's it. I think that's the end of my notes that I have here. I did. And I had more notes tonight than usual. I noticed that a couple people, I haven't looked, but I noticed a little notifications on my phone that a few people have actually bought me coffees. Holy cow. Look at you guys. Thank you so much. I won't embarrass you. But I'll tell you, when you do that buy me a coffee thing, you can see they put right up there who the people are that bought the coffee and what they wrote me and what I replied to them. And there's only so many different ways to say thank you before you start repeating yourself. And I tried to be original with everybody, but it was tough. It was tough. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Always appreciate it. And I hate to say this with the big G listening in here and having their finger on the button of my live stream, but that's a much better way for me to have you do that than the stuff that YouTube offers. Let's leave it at that. Leave it before I get the YouTube cops at my door. Let's take a look at the comments here. I'm going to go way back to the beginning. Holy mackerel, you guys have been chatting up a storm here. Wow, where's the beginning of this thing? Here we go. First one in tonight. Rosie, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. I probably, we'll do it next week, Rosie. Count on it. Next week beforehand, I'll send you a link and I'll bring you into, so you can stay on top of this chat. But you're doing a pretty good job from in the chat there, and I really appreciate that. Plus, I think you said you went to the dentist today as well. Cliff Medina's here. How you doing? Saying hi to everybody. Janice Childers saying hi to everybody. Here's Mark. Eat Meat, Heal for Life. Hey, Mitch and other members. He hopes the dentist gave me a lollipop and that I educated him on the evils of sugar. No lollipops for me. Pico 3, how you doing, man? I don't blame you. You're over there in Germany. It's way past your bedtime, but I hope you catch the replay. Genuine Impulse. I've not read it all, but just the title from BBC Science. Protein made from air could be the next big food trend. Cool. Well, you never know what's possible when you think about everything that's in air: oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, helium, and other gases. There probably are enough variety of different atoms to actually make proteins. And there's carbon in the air and the carbon dioxide. And all our life is based on carbon, and every fat and every sugar is carbon-based. And all of it, just about all of it, except for a few trace atoms of other things here and there, is made out of carbon and water. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen is the brunt of the building of the fuel and things that the human body not only is made of, but needs to live in. So when you say carbohydrate, to hydrate something means to join it with water. So you take carbon and join it with water, it's a carbohydrate. That means a little something different because fat is actually a carbohydrate too. It's carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but just arranged a little differently. We got Juan is here from Chile. How you doing, Juan? Good to see you. Tom is in Tampa. Oh, I don't know about you, but we got a little wet earlier here. And Rosie and Viking, and I think you guys were in before I even started, and you were just chatting back and forth. A lot of that. Naruto Kun is here. How you doing, Naruto? Josephine C. wrote me a nice email. How you doing? Mike K is here. Mike K says, hello, meat eaters and 3M. 3M, Mitch's Mega Meatloaf. Yeah. That was fun. I had a good time doing that. Oscar Rodriguez is here. Good to see you. Here's one. Angelo Thompson Mac. Is that how you pronounce it? Thompson Mac? Or Thompson Mac? I don't know, but Angela, good to see you. Thank you. The Furl Grandma is here. And Sandra McDonald's here talking to Josephine C. She's in Australia. CB Carmack is here. How you doing? Gave you a shout out on Homestead Hal just now. Told them you're going. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't see a huge rush of traffic, but maybe a few people came over. Rose Bergerman is here. Borgman from New York. That's a New York sounding name, Rose. Borgman. It is. Tammy Pitarch. How you doing, Tammy? Good to see you. Stephanie Reed is here, and Shedley, 81. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Steve Studley and Stanley is here. Stanley Bridge. And Shedley, 81 is here. DS111. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Just about to order a drink. Yeah, me too. I'm a little thirsty tonight. I don't know. Maybe my clean teeth are making me thirsty. That's some sharp, bubbly water. Crisp. What do you have, man? Just order a drink. And who do we got here that I haven't said hi to? Ron Emerson. Kai. Hi, Ron. Good to see you. Craig Osborne, I don't know if I got you before. How am I this beautiful evening? I'm great. I'm great, wearing one of my Tropical shirts here, and life is good. Okay, I think that took us probably through the first all the way up. All that happened before 8:02. So what I'm going to do is, I think I've said hi to most of you people that were chatting back and forth. Happy Carnivore from Australia is here. How you doing? Nothing like a happy carnivore. John Costa, see you from Australia as well. That's right, you guys are just getting started tomorrow. Camp Up is here. How you doing? How you doing? I think that's enough. I'll catch the rest of you further down in the chat. And of course, we have Beverly, who became a channel member. Welcome. Welcome. So I'm going to go over here to this chat now. And this chat here, come on, do something. Why won't it move? Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. It was stuck at the bottom. I'm going to start and kind of keep up with it, try to keep up a little bit with the chat as it's going on. So if you have a question, just make it stand out by putting like 3 Q's in front of it, or capital Q's or something, and I'll try to pick them out. And Rosie, if you see something that I don't even know how you get my attention other than text me, and I have the notification dinger turned off on my phone, but I'll try. I promise. I'll try to keep up with those things and keep an eye on them. I see somebody here said, "Hey, Mitch, can you add unflavored electrolytes like 40,000 volts to your link? You know I'm not buying burgers." You buy that stuff from Amazon, do you? I could put a link in there for it. I don't use it. I hate to, I did use the burgers and it worked pretty good. I just decided to get off of the flavored electrolytes. And I say that not being a Berg fan, but his electrolytes did have 1,000 milligrams of potassium in it, which was much, much more than the larger competitor out there. But you can buy, if you just click on my link, and then when you get there to Amazon, just go up in the search box and search for anything you want and buy it. And it looks like they give me credit for that. So that would be great. I'd appreciate it. Somebody asked me to show my shirt off. Steve Studley says, "Mitch, show us how big that shirt is." Oh, well, okay. There it is. This is the old shirts I used to wear. And I got a ton of these things, and I never wear them. I can't wear them out. They look like I'm wearing a tent, but they look okay. They look okay on the live streams because you only see my neck and my shoulders, so it looks fine. But believe me, I'm swimming in fabric here. I see Jonathan Sears will be in Florida on Saturday. Oh, man. You have my email address. I don't know if you got my phone number yet. I'll take a look. Anyway, email me your phone number. I'll return mine to you, so, make sure we get together. Here, thank you very much. We have, now I got to get all the way to the bottom of this thing to show that off. That's the only thing I don't like about this. Here we go. Bart Simpson is in the house. $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Bart. You have the same name as that cartoon guy. Pretty cool. And And I will reach out. Okay, great. I can't wait, Jonathan. I can't wait, man. All right, we have a question here from Oasis Paratu Alma. Wow. Okay. Mitch, I began carnivore 12 days ago. Only meat, salt, and water due to my ulcerative colitis. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear about that. That's a tough one. I'm having cramps and feel kind of tired, perhaps drinking too much salt in my water. Any thoughts? I am not at all qualified to give you advice on that. I wish I could. And I have a lot of company of other people that aren't qualified to give you that level of advice as to how much liquid you should drink and how much salt. And the other people that I'm talking about are every frigging doctor out there as well. There's so little known about that. But the one thing we do know, especially because of people like Kent Carnivore, like Lee Copus over there, who unfortunately figured out that carnivore cures these things after he lost his colon. And all I could tell you is if you do nothing, it's going to be bad. And just try to make little changes, but try to stick to the zero fiber part of it, because I think from everything I've heard that getting rid of the plant materials and the toxins in the fiber is really what is going to stop the autoimmune part of what Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease really is, and people seem to really be helping themselves. I have no personal experience, but you might want to start watching Kent Carnivore's videos. That's his channel name, Kent Carnivore, Lee Copus. Entertaining guy, terrific guy, young guy, wears an ostomy bag, and he just has got this nailed and completely turned his life around. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late. So that's about the best I can do for you. I wish I could wave a magic wand over you and have it go away, but I'm afraid I can't. But thanks for being here, and thank you for asking. And some questions I, even like Ken Berry, even he will say, you need to see your doctor about that. Now, it's only been 12 days, and right now you're still having a little tug of war with your gut biome, who are screaming and revolting because they need sugar to live, and you stopped feeding them, so they're dying, and they're not going to go down easy. And that's why we generally have that week or two or three of unpleasant gut activity. Let's clean it up a little bit here. And that's another thing which I think is going to be a subject of another one of my videos, is about how many misconceptions there are about gut biome, and who was it that decreed what bacteria we're supposed to have and what bacteria we're not supposed to have, because they got it all wrong. They're trying to turn our gut biome into that of a cow, and should more likely have the gut biome more like a lion than a cow. A cow has all the different strains of bacteria designed to eat sugar and crap out free fatty acids, which the cow then uses to build meat and fat. If you don't have all that fiber and plant material in your gut, you have no use for bacteria that create free fatty acids, because you're eating meat. And all of the fatty acids you need are coming in your meat. So you don't have to rely on symbiotic bacteria in your gut. And yet they keep wanting us to take probiotics and buy these things and keep cramming ourselves full of this bacteria that we're not supposed to have. So what happens when you become carnivore and you start starving the sugar eating bacteria away, and your gut biome makeup is going to change. Certain species are going to thrive because you're giving them more, you're eating more of the stuff they need, and certain species of bacteria will die off or diminish greatly because you're not eating that crap anymore. And your gut biome will find a new balance, and it can take a few weeks or a month. And during that time, it's going to be hell. Stay near a bathroom. And yet you go to a doctor and they keep telling you, well, you need this particular strain because you don't have enough of it, and you can't explain to that guy, do I look like a cow to you? Do I go moo? They don't get it. They don't get it, and it all makes so much sense, and it's all very, very simple. So let me look. Jonathan says he's going to make his own electrolytes. Steve gave his shirts away today. Wow, I didn't realize Mitch used to be that fat. Well, I wasn't that fat. I weighed about, at my fattest, about 210 and about a 42-inch waist. But when these shirts only come in like 3 or 4 different sizes. They come in medium, large, extra large. And the jump in sizes is like you go from, normal to Omar the tent maker. And that's the problem. These are just large. But now I'm so skinny inside of them that when I pull them out, they go out this far. And they look terrible. And if I tuck them in, they blouse out all over everything. It's really, really strange looking. I do have my side camera working today. Hiya, folks. Another shot to make things more cinematic. I decided I wanted to be kind of like a newscaster. And I did this last week, and it was kind of funny. How a newscaster, they look at one camera and they talk into this camera and they finish their sentence. And then they come back here and they start talking into this camera. And then they go back to that camera. And that gives you a little change of scenery to look at as we progress towards more professional show business here. Now we're talking about English Bull Terriers. Steve is telling us he still has a pooch on his stomach. Now, are you talking about a dog or your stomach itself? Hi, Mitch. Grumpy Cat. Sorry I asked this question earlier, but do you eat pork tenderloins? If so, how do you prepare and cook it? Sous vide. If not, why? I used to love pork tenderloins, and I used to cook them in a slow cooker. And I used to put onions in them, and they were delicious, and the texture of the meat came out fabulous, and I used to love it. The problem with pork tenderloin is pretty much the same as with a beef tenderloin, like filet mignon. There's hardly any fat. And since I try to make sure I get adequate fat, I've given up on lean meat of any animal. I don't eat filet mignon anymore. I don't eat chicken breasts anymore. I don't eat pork loin or any of the leaner meats. If I want to eat a pig, I love the baby back ribs because they're loaded with fat, and you're getting enough fat when you're crunching into these ribs and the grease is dripping down your arms and dripping all in your beard, and that's just telling you you're getting enough fat. So no, it's not that I don't like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just when I eat, and I don't eat a lot. I mean, I eat a big portion of what I eat, but I may only eat 2 or 3 different foods in a whole day. I may eat bacon, eggs, and a ribeye, and that would be it. I've got to make sure that in each of those foods I eat, there's adequate fat. And that's why I kind of settle on the bacon and the eggs. I know there's plenty of fat in that. And then I try to pick, fattier ground beef, fattier cuts of meat, cook them in butter, sear them in butter, that kind of thing. So I hope that answers your question. Tom says, see Grumpy QQQ above. Grumpy cat. Okay, thank you, my friend. See, to get my attention, you can do what Tom did. If you, and I don't know if you can see this here. I'm going to try to point it out. Now, it doesn't show up enough, but right here on this screen is outlined in red. It says, @OldGuyCarnivore. And what happens is if you type in to the chat anybody's screen name with an @ in front of it, it will highlight it for them. So if you really want me to see something, type the @ sign and Old Guy Carnivore. Now, what's really neat is if you're at a keyboard, the minute you type @OL, Old Guy Carnivore will pop up and you just have to click on it. So that's a quick way to chat with other people in the chat and make sure that they see a particular entry that's aimed right at them. So just like Viking, just like Tom did to get my attention by using the @OldGuyCarnivore to tell me that Grumpy QQQ had a question, anybody can do that, and that will get my attention very quickly in the chat. Grumpy Cat, question. Hi, Mitch. Sorry I asked this question. Oh, you eat pork. Okay, I just did. Okay, thanks, Tom. DS111, eat meat. See, he did it there for Mark. Eat meat, heal for life, yeah. And testosterone must be up at the same time because my arms are very vascular and strong. Yes, sir. My free testosterone on my last test, mine was 729, which is more than twice what the average young 30-year-old has in this country anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that my arms are just getting vascular as hell. My veins, I mean, they're just popping out everywhere, and it looks good. It looks healthy. And I don't know if that has anything to do with testosterone or not, but boy, I'll tell you what, it's taking years, but little by little you see quite a transformation back to the way you're supposed to look, I think. CS111 says, the open window behind me makes it look like I'm up in the air. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. As you can see, I can lose the sky and the trees. I can lose the open door. I can lose the logo. And that just leaves me. I can bring in the monkey. Cool. It's all magic. But let's bring back all the accoutrements. What's this bottom one? Oh, I had my birthday. This was my happy birthday thing. Remember that? Remember the happy birthday that I had for my birthday? I told you I like gadgets. I like push buttons. And we'll get rid of the monkey. There you go. Put him back in the cage. So yeah, well now everybody's using the trick. Latanya Smith, 729, yay. 729, yeah, it's incredible. My doctor doesn't know what to think. And interestingly, the funny thing, my LDL cholesterol is 340. And I used to think that was so high, but now when I hear some of you guys, mine doesn't seem so high, but they don't put two and two together. These people have no common sense. They have no logic. When you think about the fact that all of our sex hormones are built on cholesterol, that's the precursor you start with. Like a cake starts with a precursor of flour. Well, testosterone, estrogen start with a precursor of cholesterol. If you have no flour, you cannot make a cake, or if you do, it will come out shitty. So I said to my doctor when she was again telling me that, I better be making funeral arrangements because I'm, 2 seconds away from a heart attack because of my high LDL. Excuse me one second. Let me finish my last bit of coffee. I said to her, I have no idea what my testosterone is, but it'd be interesting to find out because based on the amount of cholesterol I have, I should have pretty good testosterone. Now, I am an old man, and you'd think that by this age it would be pretty low, but I'm curious. It comes back 729. It floored her, floored me. And it's, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Anyway, Mark, the hydraulic pressure is so strong, it's basically impossible for someone to get out. I don't know what that's about. You put my name in there. Oh, no, you didn't in that one. Tammy says, I asked a question way in the beginning about Amazon trying to make sure I'm ordering right. Well, all you have to do, and I can't control how they work or anything. I just know that this happens. All you have to do is if you want to just make like you're buying, you want to buy a frying pan that's listed on my site. So you go to my site, you click on the frying pan, the Amazon window opens up, you're logged in, or if you're not logged in, you log in. And then imagine if you just change your mind. Now, I'm not going to buy this frying pan, but I need to buy myself a new car. So you go up into the search bar on the top of the page and you type in your new car. And as long as you haven't closed your browser and ended that session, they pay me a commission, not a big commission, but it's the small commissions that add up on what you buy. And that has to be because when I look at the report, which every month is a mile long, it tells me the quantity. Now, anything like an air fryer, I might see quantity 6, quantity 7 more bought through my links. But then you start getting to the things where it's quantity 1, stuff I've never even heard of. And it's stuff people are buying after they've gotten to Amazon. Like a party. If we have a date and I bring you to the party, and when we get to the party, I say, you can dance with anybody you like, just make sure you go home with me. All that stuff that happened in between is basically I get credit for because I brought you to the party. So if somebody else has a good time with you, they need to thank me because I'm the one that brought you. And that's how Amazon feels about it. And they do a great deal of business from influencers who bring people to Amazon, and just like they have loss leaders in stores and they put the good stuff to hook you, or they put the really good stuff in the back of the store so you have to walk through the entire store past all of the enticing stuff, they know that once they get you in the store, you're more likely to buy other things. And that's been a very successful philosophy for Amazon. They may not share the wealth, but they share a few pennies. And you do enough of it, it adds up to something that's meaningful. None of us, it's not going to not get rich quick money, but it is, it is food money and things like that. So it helps. It all helps. And it all together is starting to add up into, I dare not say a full-time job, but a so-so full-time job, which has the potential of growing in if it keeps growing, into a, acceptable full-time job where I would feel like, I'm getting paid for my time at a market value for it. We'll see. We'll see. It's a work in progress. Tammy asked the question in the beginning. Yeah, that's how you do the Amazon thing. I'm finding, Foodie Fatty Adventure says, I'm finding that pork gives me a little heartburn, but I love pork. I'm making pork rinds right now. You're making pork rinds. You actually get the skin and make it yourself? Wow. Wow. That's very ambitious. Hard to say. I don't know how long you've been carnivore, what else you might be eating, but one thing that you don't hear too often from people who are carnivore or have been is that they have any kind of heartburn. So it may be something that you've had from before. Maybe you have some healing you need to do. Somebody's talking to Ellen. Oh, there you are. Hi, Ellen. How you doing? Ellen is Scooby the dog. Good to see you. For those of you that don't know, the people whose names are green are people in the private community. I've gotten to know most of them pretty good from our Thursday night live streams. Mitch. Tammy has a question. Rosie says, thank you, Rosie. Rosie, you can type at Old Guy Carnivore and it'll show up in red too if you want to attract my attention. So Rosie said, Tammy, did I get that one? Tammy asked a question about, the Amazon ordering. Yeah, got that. Thank you. Florida, that's Kathy. How you doing tonight? Do you think all your high school weight, do you all think your high school weight is your ideal weight? I didn't have any muscle then, puny girls. I don't think so. I was fat and I was heavy. I was always heavy as a kid. I was the fat kid that the bullies picked on. And no, I think my ideal weight is the weight I'm at right now, and I could have spent my entire life at this weight doing nothing but building muscle and being healthy. But who knew? Who knew? Tammy says, but it goes into my existing cart. Well, why would you even have a cart? Why would you have a cart if you just got to Amazon? You mean you leave things? You have a cart where you leave things in? I can't tell you how they would work that, but you can try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm telling you, it's the amount of commission they pay on those things is small. So if it doesn't work, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's more your effort and your intentions that make me happy than the actual few cents or whatever they pay me. Believe me. The fact that you guys want to do this is more important. I see Rosie. Yes, Rosie, testing the highlight. It did work and grabbed my attention right away. So that's a neat trick. In fact, Rosie, if I do it to you, if I go at RO and click Rosie Red and say hi, you'll see in your thing, it should come up red, I think. It comes up yellow when I think. So tell me, Rosie, did you get your name highlighted in that little chat that I just said to you? Now I got Boyd says he's not seeing it. Boyd, you won't see it. Only the person who the text is for will see it highlighted. Rosie said no red. Was it highlighted at all? That's strange. Because I see it yellow. Yeah, okay, yellow. Okay, maybe because I'm the boss and this is my stream, it comes up in red. But if it's highlighted though, as long as it's highlighted, whatever color it's highlighted, that's YouTube controls that. Everyone gets their name red highlight when it's their name. That's what I thought. That's why I thought Rosie would get hers in red. But she said she sees it in yellow. Tammy sees it in yellow. Rosie, is this highlighted? Yes. I just got that one. I just did it to myself. Yes. How do I start? How do I start these things? Oh, Ellen's evidently you guys are talking about Ellen's adventure with the vegan cardiologist that I made the video about. I'm still getting views. I'm still getting views on that video. It's unbelievable. I was sent to the cars because of a high LDL. They can't get me on statins, so they thought they'd try to convert me with this cult leader. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Tanya Smith says she sees orange. I don't know. I don't know how YouTube picks the colors. I never gave it much thought because I don't spend a lot of time in the chats. But maybe they just do random colors. I don't know. I don't know. I know that when it's my live stream and somebody puts my name like that, it always comes up red. It always comes up red. Maybe due to the space in your name. No, what I did was I typed @RO and 4 different users' names popped up that started with that. Then I just took my mouse and pointed to Rosie's and clicked it. So it was YouTube that chose the correct format and presented it to me. At any rate, that's a good way to get my attention, because it does work. Is the video titled Vegan Cardiology? The video is titled, so, and I'm Buddhist from memory, but it's close to this. So a carnivore walked into a vegan cardiologist's office or something like that. And it's within, if you go on my channel and just go back to my uploads, it's within the last month, I think. And it's gotten 50 some thousand views already. Here, I'll post a link to it here. Just let me find it. Let me go to content here and to God, I make a lot of videos. Here it is. It's called, so a carnivore went to a young vegan cardiologist and this happened. And I'm going to put the link to that video in the chat. Tammy says yours is red on the bottom of the screen. I give up. So that, boy, I'm as confused as you are. Should explain the different colors of highlight, no color. I'll have to look into that. I never gave it much thought. I just knew that if somebody put my name in there, it came up red. When I type a post in the chat, my name is highlighted in yellow, showing that I'm the one that posted that. That makes both posts addressed to me and posts that I've posted stand out with red and yellow. The ones that are for me, that are to me, are red, and the ones that are from me are yellow. And those are the only colors I see and the only highlighted things that I see. Now, Tom just sent me one that says YouTube style sheets are obviously different on various devices, and he highlighted my name, and it came out red, which is what it always does. So that's that. And that took up a lot of time. You know, we were talking about our high school weight and how to get things. Just do the best you can with Amazon. I appreciate the effort. I don't want you guys having to go through all these different gyrations. Basically, however it gets into the cart, I think if you go into the thing through my link, I think they'll give me credit for some of the stuff. And that's more than I could ask you to do or would want to ask you to do. I do appreciate it. I put those links in there because everybody kept asking me, where can I get this? Where can I get that? So I figured, well, I'm going to put this. I didn't even put it together with the intention of having it become a revenue source of any kind. It was just as a convenience at first because I got tired of looking them up and posting the links everywhere. Wow, it is summertime. It is getting warm. What are we doing? About 9:15 here. Jonathan says, I hope you get a fat check when I use your affiliate links to buy home. I'll adopt you and your 3 kids and your wife too. You do that. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Oh, Rosie and Janice are having a problem making their names stand out. I'm sorry I started that whole mess. Okay. So now we have Oasis para tu alma is back. Did that sound Oasis para tu alma. Did that sound Spanish, guys? I thought that came out rolling off the tongue. Says, you are awesome, an awake, critical thinker, and a rebel. I love the freedom from the diet. You and me both. I was a slave of the kitchen, not anymore. No more cutting veggies and green juicing. God forbid. That green juicing is the most dangerous thing that these rocket scientists have ever come up with. When you think about it, just think about it. All the poisons, the oxalates, the glyphosates, all the poison that's in these particular plants and leafy green things, especially spinach. Somebody said, you know, when you eat the spinach, you're just not getting enough of that poison. I'll bet you that if we juice them and just squeeze every last bit of that poison out of there and throw away that fiber that nobody needs, you could get 20 times the dose of that poison at one time by just drinking a glass of this green, foul tasting crap. And people would buy it because they think it's good for them. And that's what happened. And people bought it, and it made matters worse. And we all thought we were doing the right thing. It's not that we were stupid. We all thought that we were doing the right thing. The experts were telling us this. So, God, I don't know. When I cleaned house and cleaned the first go round of cleaning all the old kitchen gadgets, I had a Champion juicer. I don't know if you guys know what that is. That was a commercial grade thing. Had a 3/4 horsepower motor on it. It was industrial strength juicer. It was the king of juicers. It's what they used in restaurants and places that, you know, sold juiced stuff. It cost me $400 or $500 30 years ago. Today it would be a couple $1,000. I gave it away. I took it to Goodwill, said, here, I will never, ever, ever again juice anything. If you can't use it for meat, I got no use for it now. So I just gave it away. I gave it away. And I was so proud of that thing. I thought, wow, I'm the epitome of health. I've got all the right tools. And you guys know that I think maybe Tim Allen is the only guy that likes gadgets and tools more than I do. Juan, you better correct Mitch, says Mark. Correct me for what? My Spanish pronunciation? Come on now. Not bad. I remember months ago, Boyd says you were embarrassed about advertising, but I see you've gotten over it, and I'm glad. Keep up the affiliate ads. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my friend. And did you know you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com? Old guy Carn... Sorry. I have gotten over it, guys. I have. Honest, I have. Honest, I have. You show me that that I should. And I promise you I'll try not to overdo it. But I am going to be plugging those things in. Feel free not to do it if you're not in the mood. But if you are in the mood, or if I do something especially helpful for you, I can never get too much coffee. And I've gotten a lot of coffee the past couple days. I got to tell you, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. Everybody's still saying hi to everybody. Why is everyone's name in green? Green should be banned on this channel. Yeah, well, that's YouTube. YouTube decided in their infinite wisdom that the private community members of everybody's channel shall show up as green. I don't think I have any control over that. There may be a obscure setting buried somewhere in the 6th level of some menu that allows me to pick that color, but pardon me, green is going to be it. Green is going to be it. Back in the day, I was diagnosed with cancer. My dad got a juicer. The lies they told us. Yeah. And they're still pushing those juicers. You know, Jack LaLanne, if you remember him, was a big juicer sales guy. I mean, and he was in great shape. And he was quite an athlete. He was the guy that used to tow cruise ships across the English Channel with his teeth. If you remember him, Jack LaLanne, little short guy, but athletic as hell. And he was in his 90s and still doing these amazing feats, and they put him to work selling juicers. I can't believe that's how he lived. The athlete that he was, he had to be a big meat eater. He just didn't tell anybody about it. Mark, I ate so much spinach when I was a kid, all because of Popeye. Yeah. Champion Juicer, says Latanya. You had 2 of them. Yeah, they were huge, heavy things. Josephine C. says, love it. Love it. Mitch. Robert Lamb, WTG. Way to go. I think that's what that means. Way to go. OMG. Sanders having a good old time rocking and rolling in Australia. Tom, my dad used to say, eat your spinach like Popeye. Yeah. Wimpy was a genius on getting burgers. You remember Wimpy? God, I remember Wimpy. It's amazing. It's amazing, our memories, when you think about the stuff that just comes right to you. If you remember Wimpy, his line was, I will gladly pay you on Tuesday for a hamburger today. And I think I got that exactly right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will gladly pay you for a hamburger on Tuesday. I will gladly pay you on Tuesday for a hamburger today. That was Wimpy. And didn't somebody come up with and name a whole fast food chain after him, Wimpy's Burgers or something? I think they did. Time for me to go to bed. Rosie, that's right, Rosie. It's almost past your bedtime. Florida. Good night, Rosie, says Jonathan. Jonathan, you're really hanging in there with us tonight, man. So you're going to be in Florida tomorrow. You're going to be screwed up, man. You're going to have to sleep for 2 days. You're going to miss that. You're going to miss all that Asian street food. You go down to Key West. All you can do down there is drink. No, they got a lot of food down there, but not like you're used to. Tammy says she likes green dollar signs. Yeah, don't we all? Don't we all? Boy, Rosie, everybody's kissing you goodnight. Thoughts on chemo and carnivore? I have no opinion on that. I've never thought of why I would have to think about that. But you're right. It is a off the top. I would have to say that maybe being carnivore might help, but I don't think I'd advocate once somebody had cancer and had gotten that far. Why they got it would be irrelevant at that point. Whether they could help slow down the spread of it or even turn it around by changing their diet, I would say absolutely. But I would still, even as rough as it is, I'd still go with the chemo, stick with it until you start to see some results. Because once you've gotten to a certain point, then I would think you'd have to trust the medical community somehow, because they do reverse some cancers. That's just my opinion. Don't go to your doctor and say, Mitch said give it up. No, I didn't say that. Tuesday is when his Obama bucks showed up. I missed something there. Respect the coffee, says Mark. Always, always. Why did my chat skip ahead so much? You guys are talking about somebody. Jack? Who knows? Scooby, don't mention coffee. And oh, come on, Mark. Interesting about Jack L. Are you talking about Jack LaLanne? Did he have a cooking show? I don't remember that, if that's what you're talking about. I can remember Wimpy. I can't remember what my mother's phone number is. You know, I some of these things, when you are creating your login, especially banks, they come up with questions that they can ask you to verify who you are. And I look at some of those questions and I say, how the hell can people remember that? What was the last name of your third grade teacher? Who the hell remembers that? What was your phone number when you were a child? I remember it started with Pilgrim 5, PI5. That's in Philadelphia. That was how they used to name phone numbers. I don't remember the number. I do remember my military service number. And they told me when I was in basic training, you will never forget this number, no matter how old you get. And it's true. That number just rolls right off. But it's amazing some of the things we do remember. Good Wimpy line. Correct, Mitch, on Wimpy. Yes, I thought so. That is correct. The jury is in. Yes, there was Wimpy Burgers. I thought so. Question. My new YouTube name is going to be Old Guy Carnivore. Old Guy Carnivore's future ex-wife. I don't want to hurt your feelings, and I don't want to dampen your enthusiasm or curb your enthusiasm at all. But I think I've had my last ex-wife. I think if anything from here on out, it's going to be friends, maybe. But I don't know. At my age, if I have another one of those, I've been through that twice. I don't think I have emotionally have another one of those adventures in me. Poor Wimpy. Yeah. I remember Mrs. Burrs. I don't know who that is. DS-111 remembers falling in love for the first time with his fourth grade teacher. Remember the beef? It's what's for dinner commercial. Yeah. And have you noticed that the Beef Council, did they just stop advertising? Not that I watch that much advertising. You know, I catch it on the morning news enough to notice the fat dancing fat people and the dancing Starbucks people drinking all these colorful sugary drinks first thing in the morning. But I wondered what happened to the Beef Council. They used to advertise a lot. And I remember the milk commercial. Milk, it does a body good. You don't see those anymore either. I guess it's politically incorrect now. Now that we know for sure, and the science is settled, that that stuff is deadly poison and will kill you, that it would be politically incorrect to advertise it on TV. That would be like advertising, God forbid, cigarettes. You know, I think, you know, when I look at the statistics, and maybe it's me, maybe I'm just crazy, but I say to myself, would we have been better off if we just left the friggin' cigarettes alone and not let the whole dietary thing get turned upside down? Because that all happened at the expense of cigarettes. It wasn't until the cigarette companies were, and sometimes I think they did it to themselves because they knew exactly what they were doing. I think that they wanted to be in the food business and not the cigarette business. So I think they probably had a hand in their own. Now they knew it would never go completely away. They knew that no matter how much you told these people that cigarette smoking was going to kill them, they were addicted. They were going to smoke. So they knew that they were always going to have a market for cigarettes, but they were just not going to be able to sell them to the kids, who, as it turned out, seemed to get them anyway. But it let them turn their talents of addicting people or making addictive products to the food companies. So they bought up all the food companies. And now it's all the old tobacco companies that are running all of the big food companies that are making all the food. And the management of those companies are very happy now because they can sell to children. Not only can they, but they're encouraged to sell to children. From the cradle, from the baby formula on up. And they can have Tony the Tiger. And nobody says anything that they're poisoning our children. But if you remember, Joe Camel was the devil. It was a horrible thing to do. That's how they got him. They're using cartoon characters to lure our children in so they can addict them to cigarettes. But now they can addict them to sugar and sell them a much more profitable product at a much earlier age, get them addicted to it, knowing that their parents can't say no when the kid's throwing a tantrum fueled by sugar, that he wants more sugar, and we have the system. So I say to myself, maybe we should have just let the smokers smoke, because when you look at the statistics from back in the 50s and 60s, there weren't nearly as many sick people and dying people from smoking cigarettes as there are today from eating this food. The cancer rates were nothing compared to what they are today. Cigarettes didn't cause diabetes. Here I am putting on a pitch for why we should smoke cigarettes. I'm just saying that I think the less harmful of the two, the cigarettes or the processed foods, I think we put the wrong ones. We made the wrong ones politically incorrect. And just look at the charts as the smoking, because what did people do when they couldn't smoke anymore? They started eating this stuff. They had, generally don't cure an addiction. Most people only they swap one addiction for another. Alcoholics become, turn to cigarettes. You gotta, it's just some of us carnivores that finally take that last addiction that we had and get rid of it and end up with no addictions. So it's just some of the things I think about. Texting is a train wreck, says Mark to Scooby. Do you, yeah, I've had a few. Google, let's say, or the speech to text engine has created a few little embarrassing moments for me, and I'm sure it has for everybody. When it types out something that it thinks you said, but doesn't get it quite right. Read your last text. You guys are, not only are you talking in here, but you're texting each other too. Holy cow. AP, hey Mitch, my third grade teacher was Mrs. Jenge. She taught us all about, holy cow. Somebody remembers their name. I can't remember the name of any of my teachers even from high school. That shows you what an impression they left on me. One of my doctors, always portly, is doing one of the new weight loss drugs. He knows about carnivore. Once I saw him walking through the waiting room with a large hero sandwich under his arm. That doesn't surprise me, Kathy. How many people do you know who give advice and don't take their own advice, Do as I say, not as I do. I mean, that's very common, but I lost most of my respect for doctors a long time ago. The man behind the curtain got exposed to me. I realized they were not supermen. They were not that smart. They had the ability to memorize answers to tests so often, and they had a handbook that listed symptoms and told them what it probably was and what drug to prescribe. And that handbook became the internet, which became artificial intelligence, which has the potential to put all of them out of business because it can do what they do better. But it's programmed to be a vegan, unfortunately. Yeah, it's amazing how many portly doctors there are. Smoke them if you got them. Yeah, I'm going to go maybe another 5 minutes here, and then I'm going to go out and watch a little of this replay and see technically how it looked. And one thing I did notice, guys, and I apologize for it, I never even knew this. I looked a little deeper into the things that I can set on these live streams, and I noticed there were two settings for the chat. One of them said enable a real-time chat, because if I did not click that, there would be no chat. There would just be me talking. And then there was one underneath that said enable the chat replay. And I didn't even know that was there. I thought the chat always played back when you replayed the stream. And I had gotten a couple of comments from you that said, we can't find the replay. Where is it? And I thought maybe it was just the device you were using or something. But that was me making a dumb mistake, evidently. So on this one here, I already made sure I had checked the fact, display the chat as it came up during the stream. And if any of you look at the replay and don't see the chat, let me know, because I think I did it. I think I did it right this time. Are you sure, Mitch, your testosterone is high? Naruto. Yes, I'm sure, according to the lab work. Not only is my free testosterone, my available testosterone, all those numbers are right up there. And I feel like it too. I mean, even at my age, I still feel like I'm 30 years old and turn me loose. Look out, girls. I mean, I just still have all of that drive and everything. And this is probably too much information for you guys. Everything still works exactly like it always has. And you know, I know so many people, and you hear so much, you see so many advertisements about ED. And that's metabolic syndrome. That's caused by insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. And when if anybody with ED that went on a carnivore diet, after a few months, wouldn't have it anymore. Because the normal state of our anatomy is for things to work like they're supposed to, not to not work. And all of those signs and all the clues and all the information and all the data and all the proof and all the stories and all the case studies are there showing that it works, and we still can't even get them to turn their head 5 degrees and look in this direction and take us out of the fringe lunatic kook category of dangerous people. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe this year, with the politics as absurd as they are, with the stupidity that's been going on, finally starting to look stupid to people that should have noticed a long time ago, because they are intelligent people. They've just been snowballed. With people finally realizing that we don't have an equal system of justice for everybody. We have a double standard in this country, depending on which side you're on, that is so obvious. How can people not notice it? And we have half of the people in this country are waddling around shooting insulin into their veins, waiting to die from heart disease caused by diabetes, which we didn't have 30, 40 years ago. And you say to yourself, when are these people going to wake up and say to themselves, we didn't have this 30 or 40 years ago. Why do we have it now? What's changed? Duh. You think maybe we're not eating what we used to eat? Well, you know, it can't be the diet. That's not, you know, it's got to be something else. People are starting to wake up now, and it's good to see. People are starting to wake up politically. They're starting to realize what's been going on, because it's been there right in front of their face all along. And it's starting to affect them in their pocketbooks and everywhere else. Maybe we'll do something about it. Again, it's another one of those things, like I started the stream with, saying that I did that buy me a coffee thing with no expectations, so I wouldn't be disappointed when it didn't work. That's how I feel about politics now. So I refuse to get optimistic or excited about any change that's going to fix anything in this country. I have to do that now. I've been let down too many times. In the past, I'll do my part and we'll see what happens. And other than that, I generally stay out of it, stay out of the politics. Did I forget anything, guys? Did I forget anything? Somebody was talking about testosterone here. Josephine, Mitch, has to turn them away at his door. Oh yeah, were you talking about girls? I would imagine. Yeah, they're lined up. They're lined up outside. They're lined up because I won't say it. It'll be unkind. You guys are very helpful. I love you guys. You are just the friendliest, greatest people. Thank you so much. Mitch, you never know you're a hot ticket. Yeah. Well, thank you, Ellen. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the day where we can all arrange something, some kind of a little convention or something for us all to get together somewhere. Find common ground somewhere in the middle. Have to be Kansas or something. Kathy, these food allergy tests, most of them are from everything I've heard, from, that most of them don't do you any good anyway, because you get false positives for everything, and especially stuff that you've eaten in the last day or two. They always seem to come out that you're allergic to those things that you've just eaten for some reason. Happened to my son. He came back and he says, I can't believe I'm allergic to this, that, and the other thing. He says, I just ate all that yesterday. I said, that doesn't make any sense to me. You're not allergic. You're not allergic to meat. You're not allergic. But they just, for some reason, I don't know how they measure that stuff. I think that somebody said something earlier. I saw in a comment about food allergies or being allergic to. I said, yeah. I said, if you just stopped eating plants, you would have no food allergies, because nobody I know is allergic to a ribeye. Some people might get sick from it if they have a disease called alpha-gal, and that's from a tick bite, from the Lone Star tick. But other than that, we can't be allergic to meat. It's our food. It's what we're supposed to eat. Plants, on the other hand, have medicinal purposes here and there. That's what the medicine man used to do. Everything was made out of herbs and plants. It was something because they were potent chemicals that could make changes, but not this stuff that we're supposed to just live on and rebuild our bodies on every day. That's the meat. DS111 says, one day I will get a girlfriend even if I have to work for it. There you go. That's the attitude, man. I had to stop in Walmart today. I was appalled at the number of obese people and what was in their carts. And they're all, who really, South Park, some of the parodies they have, these people in there driving around in the supermarkets in their carts, and you don't even have to guess what's in their cart. You can tell. You could just look from 2 aisles away at and you know exactly what their cart is full of. And it's sad. It's sad. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It is a little. Don't get me wrong. But they can't. Any of you that have ever had trouble fighting an addiction know that the more and more you eat, the fatter you get, the more your addiction kicks in more often. And it's a self-feeding. It just becomes a frenzy of eating. And that's all you can do because you can't do anything else. And the only pleasure you have left in life is stuffing food in your face until you die. And it's just because your addictions are being manipulated by the people selling you the food. And they've done it to us. They are the public enemies, these food companies. That's why those advertisements just torque me off so bad. It's because it's in your face. They're laughing at us. They're taunting us. Bet you can't eat just one. I'll bet. We got you. Want it? Here it is. Pay, just give me money. What are you going to do? Well, listen, guys. You guys could keep this up all night. Me, on the other hand, had a busy day. Linda says, got my food pyramid shirt today. Too shy to tell people what works for me. The shirt will be awesome. I wear my shirts a lot. They have hats now. I don't know. Anybody, let me know sometime in a comment or an email if you think you'd want a hat and what you'd want on it. Because the company that makes my shirts sent me an email today, say they've got 7 different styles of hats. Baseball caps, floppy hats, things, and I can get them. I don't know. They're probably, everything from any of those people are not the cheapest, but I'm thinking about designing a hat, carnivore based, and maybe having those hats available. So let me know, and what you might want to see on it if you're interested. Talking about grounding, the Rudo-kun, there was a reference to you having a wife. I had a wife. If you're talking about me, yes, I had a wife. She turned out to be a bipolar psychopath and basically ruined my life. So at least the last 40 years of my life, I've been away from her for 20, and she managed to have a hand in ruining that too, what I had of it. So I'm a little skittish about getting involved again, unfortunately. But, I have an open mind. If it happens, it'll happen. But I'm not chasing them, that's for sure. Hope that doesn't make me sound like I'm being too tough, but always wondered about it. I don't wear hats. I like to show my bald head. Yes, me too. Have the rest of the day off and eat meat. You need to sun the pension. Okay, guys, I think I got to the bottom of the chat, and that's going to be it. I am going to fire up the exit music. Had a good time. Got rid of that frog in my throat. Hope you all had a good time. We hung in there between 100 and 120 people all night long, and by the time this thing finally settles down and all of the replays are counted up and the views, I usually get 1,500 or so people actually see these live streams, which is great. I mean, compared to YouTube view counts of hundreds of thousands or millions of views, it's nothing. But when you stop to think about it, you put 1,500 people in a room, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So I'm very pleased that it is working out. Today is my 10th month anniversary of being a carnivore YouTuber. Hard to believe that old guy carnivore did not exist before 10 months ago. So I can't complain. I've had my ups, my downs, my highs, my lows, but I cannot complain. About how it's turned out and about the community of people that have come together and how much you've become a part of my life and how much I appreciate it. So with that note, guys, I'll come up with something, probably put a video out tomorrow, because I always wake up or something with an idea of what I want to do. I have no idea what it might be yet, but come up with something. I'll see the private community on Thursday night. No shameless plugs here at the end, no pitches for anything. Just a thank you. Thank you all for coming. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.